and good afternoon, Dragon Warrior Randomizer fans. This is Wonderdown with Aaron2U2 in Saturday afternoon's Garenham group stage race for the DWR Summer Tournament. Today we've got brianwilliams42 at 3-1 going up against dk9146 currently at 3-0. I think he also has, DK also has EMP and Zarnak still to go. This will be Brian's final race in the group stage. He's got his done. And, you know, this should be an exciting one. They are starting both with 5 strength and 10 agility, both doing a strength HP build. But before that, we've got Tanuki Monster on the restream and Fellison doing our tracking for us. Thank you very much to both of you. And with me in the booth is Aaron2U2. Hey, good morning, Aaron.
Howdy, howdy. Welcome in. Like you said, good afternoon when we start, and then good morning to me, because we still have 1 minute until it's afternoon here. So
yeah, I always get those mixed up.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. You're talking about Garenham group. If Brian wins this, he will clinch the number 1 seed in the group, get the bye going into brackets. He's already clinched a spot. DK, however, does need to win at least one more race to clinch. If he loses out, there's a chance of a tiebreak, but he's not worried about that. He's worried about winning this one. This is actually a rematch from last year. They were in the same group, and Brian won that one.
Yeah, I was looking at the things, and it looks like DK's only at 2-0, and that was... Gold, hurt, and I didn't see what was in the first. Oh, they got a key in the first chest.
Yeah, they're just gonna walk right back to back. He is 3-0. He already raced EMP. I think there was something off about the record keeping on that one. But
oh, he did. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but Brian's gonna bounce back in. DK's gonna walk over. He might, if you do this, that means he might be checking the basement first because he could just get himself killed real quick and then warp back. That or he just really doesn't want any sort of gold grind. It's interesting to see how little optimizations you can make at this beginning point, depending on what you do. And of course, which chest you pick matters. Okay, yeah, DK is going right back. So he might just pop in if he happens to get a gold chest or, something he wants to grind. Looks like our chest, I saw 2 herbs and I couldn't see anything that Brian got. So
first belt and wings, so there's no gold in the treasury.
But Brian is able to grind up. Is he grinding up the herbs, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, herbs were in the lower left and upper left chests.
Oh, okay. He didn't get the last one yet, so he didn't know that was repetitive. I was going to say the count looked wrong. Brian's leaving. DK going underground to the underground mountain, the mountain under the castle, which is in the plains.
And Brian decided to go after this skeleton with hurt, but they have hurt more.
Yes, full-on counterattack there. DK not having any luck with the Spectre, who's spamming sleep, so... both of them getting an early exit. Again, we were talking right before the stream that the hurt spell here at the start should make this a pretty fun one, but when that happens, you don't know. Okay, and it sucks. It's good. So the one town there was a chance that maybe you would reconsider the gold if there was something really useful there to buy and maybe just, get your key money later, but nah.
It's always Hawksness. But, okay, Brian going up against the Scorpion, which is going to be a lot easier with her, and getting 16 XP for level 2 and almost level 3. Power by 4, speed 4, 6 hit points, no HP, no MP, but the heal spell.
Nice, and yeah, he's gonna explore a little bit. Looks like he wants the northern zone here. DK, however, jumps directly to level 3, which there was a lot of power in that level, plus the spell of heal more.
Oh, well, there, you got the healing all set up for the rest of the seed. But only at 11 MP, but they're also level 3. And DK is going after whatever he can find in here, just to probably get him up to level 4, see if he can pile on some more MP before he heads out.
Yeah, and there's nothing about these stats that makes you want to push yet. I think both of these guys are pretty disciplined, that you'll probably see them hang around until around level 6, maybe 7, unless, Hurt More shows up.
Though right now they have 28 strength, so they can actually just swing and hit the scorpions. 1, 10, 0, 10. Stop spell at level 4 for DK. While another skeleton with Hurt More sends Brian Williams back home again.
That is the second time he has died to a skeleton with Hurt More. You had me curious about you said swinging on the scorpion, so I wanted to dig into that. It's still a little bit better to cast Hurt, but it's not too much of a difference right now. You're likely to two-shot a scorpion with swings.
Yeah, but at that point, DK only has, and still does only have 1 MP left.
Oh, we see a bottom coast. We know both of our runners here are reverse counters, although DK is kind of on the very light side. He does not generally mess around with that stuff. Brian, however, is going to 100% set up something once he notices.
Okay, and knowledge, we know that specters have both sleep and hurt.
Yeah, we do have stop spell, so DK was not able to cast that on the specter. He might not have noticed the stop spell. There's a lot of stuff that all kind of popped up.
He might, but he's only got 1 MP still.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. I think he was probably trying to die over here in the swamp when the scorpion appeared.
Yeah, but they're still about neck and neck, almost both at the... Oh, Brian's going to hit level 5 with that scorpion kill, and 3 power, 1 speed, 3 hit points, 1 magic point.
3-1, 3-1. That is not a very interesting level, but yeah, as chat pointed out, we actually see the East Coast over here too. So I don't think Brian has noticed either of them yet. He's really trying to stay in the eastern zone here, and he's getting taken out by the skeleton again.
And now DK is going through that swamp for the Death Warp.
I like to call that the slam move. And we see Brian going down. Maybe DK will as well. Yeah, because we got Mountain right here, so it's not a humongous time loss if you end up getting got. And you can, you know, potentially something really good could be in there.
And thanks for chat pointing out that the metal scorpions that Brian Williams died to also have hurt more. Gonna be one of those days.
All right, Brian is opening with the hurt on the Spectre, but I don't think he saw any of them yet. But if he sees the hurt, I think he will go for the stop spell. Yeah, he's going to go do that either way, because this is such a good enemy to kill, and it's very killable. Doesn't seem like it wants to use the hurt a whole lot, though. Oh, hey, the Drakimas have hurt more as well. This is fun. We were seeing lots of enemies with lots of bad abilities right at the start. Certainly that means all the Sharlock enemies later will just be easy, right?
Fingers crossed, man.
Alright, so DK manages to get the stop spell out in front of the Spectre here. So Spectre can't have a whole lot of stop spell resist. I think the maximum would be 4. Of course, that's rolled randomly at the start of every seed, so it's somewhere between 0 and 4. That being out of 16.
According to Brian's, there's also warlocks in this zone.
Yeah, swinging on the warlocks makes sense. You got the heal spell, and oh, you know what? He don't care about the heal spell. He just uses herbs. And DK found the gold.
Another key in chest 2.
Yeah, so far these qualify as things that are there that aren't terribly interesting.
And both of them are a whisper away from level 6 at 165 XP.
Okay, maybe the gold could be interesting, but
0730 for level 6.
I see these remaining chests are herb and torch. We are, yeah, and DK throws that torch out immediately, wants nothing to do with it.
But with only 22 MP, that extra herb is not going to go to waste.
There it is, the token, the last chest. So this is a mandatory mountain cave. We could see maybe a gold grind set up later, but I don't know. Depends on how the seed goes, of course. It's a little bit longer than your normal gold grind, having to go all the way down into Mountain 1, but if you're, you know, set on doing it, it's probably not going to stop you.
Yeah, but I think both our runners would probably want to make sure that there's a town within sane walking distance before attempting the gold grind. But I might be wrong.
And that is a very unfortunate death for Brian, getting taken out by the Magiwyvern, who also had hurt more before he could get to that 5th chest. So that is a required 5th chest, and he's going to go right... Oh, no, he's not going right back. I wonder what he is doing. Maybe he's grinding some more herbs.
Yeah, it's herb grinding. He's probably going to go back down and have to go for that 5th chest, or he might actually be worried, you know, what happens if he orphans it. Or I might be mistaken. DK, though, being taken down by the Spectre for that death warp, bringing him back to start, but he doesn't need to go back in the mountain, unless he goes for the grind later on.
Yeah, it's we see Brian throwing out the stop spell on the skeleton now. That seems to be a very heavy hurt more casting enemies, so as long as that lands, that's going to be probably the way to go. I do wonder how long these guys will wait before checking the spike in Hawksness, or checking the zone in Hawksness. Right now, the zone 0, 1, and 2 is still plenty good. There's no real reason to try to reach beyond that, but there might be some temptation. And yeah, and the DK knows that there's a gold grind. He might be pushing a little bit just to see if he can find a town to see if it's worth doing, because the best time to do a gold grind is right now. And it looks like that entire path is useless, so we're gonna have to go west after this north junction to go anywhere. So it's gonna wind up being fairly linear.
Yeah, Brian decided to take the grind. You know, a little bit of a breathing room until level 7, where you got to go for 337 experience points.
I do think DK is setting up a reverse count to the East Coast. I don't know if he's got one to the south or not yet, but it is definitely something he's doing. I imagine going up against somebody like Brian, who has not rescued Gwalen in well over a year now, that this is in his mind as something that he might just have to do to negate the potential advantage Brian would have in doing it. Oh, so we see DK getting taken out by the skeleton, and it's actually very unfortunate that Brian died to that Druid Lord, because he was one square away from seeing that was a dead end.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that might just be something that lingers in his mind again, another not completely figured out, and DK is going back at this now.
Yeah, Druid Lords, and Beta's also pointing this out in chat, Druid Lords had sleep. DK, I think that might be the first time he actually saw that hurt more on that skeleton. So...
I think DK has, now he has the count to the bottom. We'll see if he decides to loop back for the count to the east. And oh, there's a metal slime. How about that? Metal slime with weak breath. And it's not the best fight, but you know, if you crit one, then it suddenly is the best fight. All right, looks like he's counted to both of them. So the east, I believe, was 2 full zones, so it's a little over 30. But the south one looks like it was just 1 zone.
Yeah, you could tell there's a lot of nasty monsters early on. DK's actually fighting a poltergeist of his own free will.
Yeah, Hoodie calling that he is guessing that the flute will be on the coordinates. But yeah, this metal scorpion down for Brian. We'll get him to level 7. We'll see if we if the seed is going to open up any.
Three, 2, 5, 2 in sleep. Not the best for stats, but that sleep could be helpful in some of these corner cases.
Yeah, we've seen some of these mid-game enemies be a little bit nasty too, like that Magia Wyvern with Hurt More. So being able to sleep, stop that one, you'd probably be able to kill it now. And Brian might be thinking the exact same sort of thing that DK was, that it's a good idea to look around and make sure there's no towns nearby because you have a gold grind. And if you're going to do it, you want to do it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and DK's just looking for level 7. He is basically swinging at anything that comes up in his path at this point. And there it is for him.
And Brian is really focused on just getting to find something on this. Like, he had a pretty reasonable chance of taking out that Spectre, and after laying the stop spell, chose not to do it. And he does see a town, but...
Yeah, there's that Druid Lord again with sleep.
We know this can't be Hawksness because we already know where Hawksness fits in this Druid Lord. His sleep just keeps reappearing.
Cantlin, good. You will eventually get the coordinates. Well, the downside being you don't quite have the money, but if you can actually swing it, that grind isn't looking so unviable at this point.
Yeah, he's gonna check all the shops. This is collecting information. I'm actually surprised he doesn't just max out on keys at this point, since I think his next decision here is probably going to be to do a gold grind. But we're not really got any home run hitters. We got a broadsword, I think a magic armor, and a large shield were our best options. That would still do a ton in this setup, but it's not exactly something you drool over.
But Brian's going to pay 100 gold for that bare room to sleep in to refill his MP and HP.
Yeah, worth doing a grind for if he can get back here. This was a long walk. I'm guessing it was probably around 6 screens from start, and you don't know how many potential bullets he dodged on the way here. It looks like he is planning on doing it, but he might not do it right away. Then again, by the time you go down and get the coordinates, using heal and herbs, you're going to be pretty drained.
And DK on his side is finding a cave, and it is tablets. He doesn't have outside, so he's going to have to walk this out, but at this point you got to check everything you can.
Yeah, it used to be the case that sometimes people would skip tablet if they didn't have a torch or radiant or whatever, but now you pretty much always check it.
Death necklace in the tablet cave could be useful later on, or at least worth 1,200 gold if you sell it. 53 north and 66 west for the coordinates.
Yeah, that is going to be fairly close to the west edge. Probably a couple of screens out, and then I would say about 2/3 of the way up north. That's it's not great for counting. It's not great for a reverse count, but I think it depends on where the west coast is that you might be able to do it.
Oh wow! Brian's opening the empty herb chests. He's going for the grind. He's taking that risk. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, and with the stuff he's probably going to get, we've been looking at an exactly 10K. He might consider doubling it to not get taken out on the way back because, it's not the safest place in the world.
I think if it were me, I'd be taking the 11K and saving first before making the trek to Cantlin. And DK finds another town going west. I don't know if this is Cantlin because I can't draw maps, but we're gonna see what he finds.
Definitely not Cantlin. And surprisingly, Brian, I think he kind of went to the wrong chest. I would have went to the other ones first because don't you need two? Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, DK finds Garenham.
With the silver shield, full plate, and broadsword if he decided to do his own grind. But I think he's going to check the back and cave in the back, see what he can find there before he makes any decisions on that.
See, there are 3 chests here in the Garenham Town Hall and 3 very annoying NPCs. First is gold, second is marriage at herb, and third is gold, so he can go get that broadsword right away.
Oh, that'll be a nice boost to his attack power and help him save up and help him conserve that MP until there's a boost from a later level.
Yeah, and this strength actually puts him in where he will outswing the hurt damage to most things he'd be wanting to fight anyway.
Which will free up some MP for those sleeps, especially if he finds that Magic Wyvern again.
So something worth noting here, because of the way Brian chose to do this, he still hasn't checked that 5th chest. There was a chance, I thought, where he might just go straight down and grab that and then go back to the gold, but he did not. And so his token remains in a mystery.
DK finds Swamp behind Garenham.
Yeah, we do see Brian throwing up the save here. Very important, because again, I feel like this was a long walk. It might just be a lot more straightforward than it seemed, but there was quite a bit to go through, and a lot of that was swamp too.
DK checking the swamp spike. Let's see what we find. And it's Red Dragon.
Throws out the stop spell. This is unusual. Usually what DK does here is he just Hurtmores it and then he crits it. But I guess without Hurtmore, he can't really do that this time.
I remember that one.
Another thing worth noting here is that this is going to eat up a lot of time on Brian's side, especially if he continues to get, taken out on the way there. A lot of enemies he's just going to run from. A lot of walking. So this is, it's not like DK is exactly gaining a bunch of experience or anything right now either, but it is a bit of a time investment.
But yeah, Jake Hoper and Beta both pointing out that while Brian's trying to get there, he's also doing a count, so...
I have to point out, he did not cast sleep on that Magic Wyvern. That was a surprise. That's your best way to get away pretty much all game.
Why not sleep the Magic Wyvern? I'm not sure. He might not even be aware that Magic Wyvern also has Hurtmore. I might be mistaken, though.
Speaking of Hurtmore, the Droll Magi has Hurtmore. Almost took out DK. Survived with 1 HP. Stopped spelling the Droll Magi, who now throws out Hurtmore again. So he's going to do the Heal More. Yeah, do the Heal More. And again, on DK's side, he's got a little bit more money. He'd be going for 17.8, I think, to get the silver and the full plate.
Yeah, I don't think I blame him based on the knowledge he's got, especially because that silver will probably be a major boon, especially with Hurtmore running around, with so many monsters with Hurtmore running around.
And so because DK died in, with those 3 chests from Garenham active, he does not have to go to the 2nd floor like Brian did. but he gets taken out by the Drakima with Hurtmore.
With Hurtmore.
But hey, he gets there on the third try. I don't know if that's good luck or bad luck, honestly. It seemed like a long ways, but he gets what he needs, and at this point, he'll be able to churn out some good experience, I think. And as Chad has pointed out, he was counting the steps north. It seemed like it was very obviously not north and not really west or east to Cantlin here. So he may be able to just go directly into continuing the count, which was probably still going to be quite a ways to the west.
And DK getting to 600 XP for level 8. With 4 power, 2 speed, 1 hit point, 3 magic points, no spells.
It's a pretty unmemorable level. I've actually forgotten all the stats already.
And DK's settling in for that grind.
And 17.8 is what will cover the silver and the full plate. That's all he saw there in Garenham. I got the feeling Garenham was closer than Cantlin, but I think it's DK went more of a flat west, whereas Brian kind of went more north than west.
Yeah, Brian's knowledge of the coordinates is definitely guiding his hand. DK has not found Cantlin just yet.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the line, because he was going through a lot of swamp, pretty willingly there, until I guess he thought better of it.
18-2 gold grind for DK. He's going to be going back out. More than likely, I would say he's been saving. He'll be saving, but he might just risk it. But he does block that hurt and sleep from the Spectre to get another 47 XP.
Now, I think if you take this much time to do all this stuff, you have to save it. It would be reckless to not do that, unless you know the town is just nearby.
And there's the West Coast for Brian.
Wait, that's way too far.
Yeah, he's going. Wow, yeah, he's just going straight east from that point to see if he finds it.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go about 20 spots in. I think it was barely more than 30, if I recall. So it's gonna take a little bit, but if he's got the right line, he'll get it eventually.
With that gold grind, he might feel confident that he has the time to do it.
And he bailed on it pretty quick. I'm surprised at that. Again, it looked to me like the East Coast was more than 30 steps out. So, add that to 60, but not much more than 30, excuse me. So I was going to say it was going to be about 20 steps. He may just not feel very comfortable because he didn't actually do a count that direction. At least I don't think he did. There was something that was mentioned in chat that I want to reiterate. The Golem has stop spell. That actually opens up the capabilities of Hawksness to maybe be, one, a potentially amazing grind, and two, gettable somewhat early. I think right now it would be completely reckless to go in there because you can just about get one shot by a Golem at 48 hit points, and with 55 AP would be terrible. But it definitely opens up the door that maybe you're not, another reason to not wait for Hurtmore or a whole bunch of stats to go in there. But yeah, that would be, the Red Dragon was in Swamp, and Hawksness, I was talking about Hawksness. Sorry, I got confused. I thought I was saying something wrong.
Yeah, I didn't see if they actually went to the spike in Hawksness. Was it a Golem?
No, no one actually. Neither of them did more than one step into Hawksness.
Okay, fair enough.
Brian kind of took that death on purpose, and I wonder if he's going to count to the east now or something, because that felt like he was wasting time and wanted to bail on it.
And it looks like Garenham is about 1 screen north and 2 or 3 screens west of Tantagel, but he gets that silver shield and that full plate, which is really going to give him a good boost for his defense.
Yeah, so DK's got his gear, did not have any real issue getting here. No resets, which again, he was staying a little bit closer zones, so that's not quite as surprising. Brian has decided to just try to grind out the next level, I think. Red Slime is not welcome.
DK might be doing the same. He's got 779. He's going to need 975 for level 9.
And this Wyvern is a great enemy to do that with. However, I don't think he's wanting to just stick on it, but he'll take him as he can get him. Sleep strats are great when they work, but it's only 3 out of 4, and it just doesn't always seem like it wants to work.
Well, yeah, because, your sleep can actually fail against monsters, but monsters casting sleep on you always works because Enix is so fair like that. Lore-wise, I just blame it all on the Dragon Lord.
DK throwing out sleep on the Wraith Knight's interesting. He doesn't quite have the AP to reliably 3-shot it. Yeah, doing 7 damage isn't great. I think he wants to get to that level. He just doesn't want to continue to fight in zone 0, 1, and 2, which I don't know. It's not that if you had something like well, you can't really repel now with the silver shield. That's one of the bad things. Once you get the silver shield, you're pretty much done casting the repel spell. Of course, even if you have it, or using fairy water or anything like that, unless you have hurt more, because you'll just end up not fighting anything. But this Metal Scorpion going down will get Brian to level 8. DK, however, is closing in on level 9. We know level 8 was pretty unremarkable. We are, halfway through the game, so you're starting to wonder where some of these spells are. Or halfway through the...
There's that Magic Wyvern for revenge. DK's going with hurt when he should have been going stop spell on that, but he might actually be able to do better than I would have thought of on us.
Yeah, you just need to land 3 of them. It's not that unlikely. We do see Brian picking up his count. He must not have liked, not trusted what his count was. Anyway, at level 9, we do it 11, 1, 28, and 12 with the Spell of Return. That is our, I'm going to say, mid-game breakout level. That lets you do a whole lot more than you've been able to do before.
Yeah, that HP, that could actually justify a Hawkness attempt.
Yeah, I think you could, again, the MP isn't super high, but Stone Man, maybe a Golem, Green Dragon. I guess if you got Heal More, Axe Knight's probably a lot worse than the Green Dragon in this scenario.
For goodness sake, DK, please find Caitlyn. But then again, Brian, also find Garanham.
I think they're both preoccupied with this or that. And, Garanham didn't have anything that, as far as we know, is necessary. DK is, he's going to wind up over there soon enough. He's in that narrow path that we know Caitlyn is just a screen or so above. And, oof. Wraith having hurt more is not great. Seeing Brian go to heal afterward was surprising. But hey, stop spell isn't bad because that lets you pick him out.
Another monster has hurt more? I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
I do like this forest here that cuts through the desert. It looks very, I would say, like ROM hacky. It looks like something would make it there to kind of put a little cradle around the town. Okay, Brian back on the search. Again, I think he might be going too far west to start this, but we'll see. I don't recall if that's the same line he was on before or not.
I think it might be. Thank you, Lorgon, pointing out Brian's one north count higher than he was.
All right, DK is going to get his coordinates here in just a moment, getting fully coordinated.
Heal and hurt more in the skeletons.
Even more reasons to not fight them. He did not get an east offset. He didn't get a north-south one either. He just counted the steps north. So, and he picked this one up. I think he didn't do a completely fresh count, but he picked it up from a spot he had midway. So there's still a chance that maybe there was something wrong there. But I don't think it will be. I feel I want to put all of my confidence in Brian here.
Demon Knights with the weak breath. DK swinging for 10. That's a could probably handle that one.
And Brian does get the search, and it is Erdrick's sword. So that's going to solve some problems. Wow. But as soon as you get Erdrick's sword, of course, you run into an armor knight who immediately kills you. That is the DWR way.
Even with the sword, Brian might not think to go for Hawkson's because he's still only at 44 hit points. Maybe. I might be wrong.
Looks like he's going to continue going down here and realize how close the coast was, or how not close it is, perhaps, and feel a little bit bad. I think the only coast he saw was the northeast, and that wasn't actually a dead end. DK is heel-mooring, trying to get through this armor knight to get to whatever this town is. This is a new town.
Mercy rule, fourth run will automatically succeed.
Town smells like pine.
Smells like keys, but we've got those already.
I've never wanted to smell a key before. Just wanted to share that with everyone.
No problem, neither have I. DK saves that 20 gold by finding a dragon scale in the chest.
DK is a full-on never buy the dragon scaler. So, and yeah, I think Brian wanted to go away, but with Hawks right here, it's just, you gotta check at some point, you know, just to know when you come back to it. Especially if you've already, you know, used a little bit in the way of resources or anything. Just come in here, peek, die, and then go about your business. We just see a blue dragon in the zone, though, so that's not great. Another cave on DK's side. We'll get a peek at that in a moment, hopefully.
We've got a few caves outstanding, so... it is the Rainbow Drop, aka the Jerk Cave, which you're going to need the Staff of Rain, which you get from trading in the Silver Harp, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token, which DK had.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, maybe he was down to heal more, maybe he just doesn't want to mess with it right now. Brian did not even attempt to fight that Stone Man seriously. So I would imagine, again, if he was at level 9, he probably would. And maybe that's in his mind, but he is heading in the direction of... Assuming he stays low here, he's going to be heading in the direction of Garanham. That's a good point. I haven't seen him cast Sleep yet, so that might be something that's eluding him. Probably the biggest thing here that is differentiating is, the coordinates helping with the sword is great, but the fifth chest and mountain underneath Tantagel has the token, and Brian has went down there twice and not got it either time, and that could be a problem if that fails to pop into his head.
And also on DK's side, he finds the Harp Trading Cave. Unfortunately, we don't have the Harp just yet. Excellent dodge on the Wraith Knights with who's casting Hurt and Retaliation. 1403, DK's trying to get to 1500 for level 10.
Yeah, DK has a reverse setup. He might not be trying to go back because he just assumes whenever he go over there, he'll be able to do it.
Blue Dragons.
And the west edge was fairly obvious. The north edge here,
there's a north edge.
Close, but it's still possible. I would probably, if I were him, I would just go to the west edge, count over, and then do a north-south until you find it. It depends on how much confidence he has in that, though. I don't think he'd be shy about it, but...
Level 10 for DK. Let's see what we find. 3 power, 21 speed, 0 hit points, 4 magic points. That defense just shot up, and that's going into the amber range. The stats here, they start at, some of them start at red if they're exceptionally low. Amber is you're close to go-ish. It's possible, but, you really want to go for the green. And first, Wolf with the seed that DK swings at for 15 and 24 for another 40 XP. We didn't see any shenanigans on those yet.
Well, Brian has made his way to Tablet Cave. We know that Tablet Cave has the Death Necklace. That might come in handy. It's a little too soon to tell, but definitely not a bad thing. There's plenty of worse things you could find down here.
Yeah, with that agility boost, Rogue Scorpions are almost defense broken on DK's side, even with full plate. But that Silver Shield is putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, that Rogue is baby cakes. And it's kind of nice to swing on them, too, because it gives you a read on how much damage you do to a red dragon, since they have the exact same defense.
I never knew that.
Yep, they are actually technically the same ability to ambush you, Rogue Scorpion and a Red Dragon, because they have the exact same agility. It's just that Rogue Scorpion is in a much weaker run group, so it doesn't necessarily prove impossible to run from like the Red Dragons do.
DK taking down that wizard for 120 XP. They didn't show any spells or weird stuff. Maybe the mid-tier monsters took all of it. And DK finds another town. We are outstanding for Breckenary at this point. Oh,
and
no,
Cole.
Sorry, that was my bad. I knew I forgot something.
So, hey, Cole, what are you good for?
Okay, the Stones of Sunlight. Yeah, we have been a little bit remiss on finding our homework items.
Absolutely something. Yeah, stones are good. I mean, I'm sure he was hoping for sword or armor, but whatever. You take that stuff. This looks like it's going to dead end fairly soon. So that's I don't have to ever come back here again. And sort of exploration.
And DK, there's a Sharlock sighting on DK's side, and also DK probably doesn't realize that he has the advantage of having both the stones and token over Brian.
Yeah, so much for me saying you never have to come back here, because you definitely are going to have to come back here.
Yeah, having Cole as your staging town for Repel before you dive Sharlock is not a bad thing.
Let's get away from the blue dragon. Healmore is a lot more useful now than it was. We didn't really see people casting it, but now Healmore is just allowing for the exploration to really be extended because of the higher hit point total. And he's swinging down these green dragons, which is great. This is the exact sort of enemy you really want to fight here. And again, it does seem like this path is going to end fairly soon. So there's not much lost from taking out or trying out a couple of these guys. Brian is going, he's in the swamp underneath Garanham. He's going to check out the spike and learn that it is our red boy.
I know Brian hasn't, because this is when he first found swamp. Did DK go out the north swamp to see what was there?
He did not. So
okay, looks like DK is probably going to go to refill his MP, and then probably going to take a shot at Hawksness to see what he finds. Right now, outstanding is the harp, the armor, and the flute.
Yeah, he might focus in on the coordinate count now. He might peek into Hawksness, which again, yeah, and that's what he's going to do. The broadsword is not, as good as Erdrick's sword. That's generally understood, but I would still think that he's going to try to take this guy out.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at 2175 for level 11. Brian Williams doing a bit more exploration, finding 2 caves and another town, which I think might be Breckenary at about 1400 XP.
Yep, Stone's Cave and Breckenary, and that is, maybe not the most exciting second continent. There still could be something else out here. Have we seen both trading caves?
DK has. I couldn't tell you exactly where they were. Like I said, I'm not mapping this.
Yeah, there's Breck. And speaking of awful things, this Stone Man, terrible, terrible, terrible Stone Man. But he can get back here real quick. So that sucks, but that's not like super debilitating.
And that's why we hate Stone Men. At least with the golem, the flute always works. With stone men, sleep does not always work.
Being 7 out of 8 is pretty much always, right? Yeah, Brian buying some fairy water. Again, Repel has been lingering, and he doesn't quite have the hurt more, but there are definitely times when you want to throw that fairy water out anyway, especially if you take a death and just don't deal with zone 0, 1, and 2 enemies. That also might be one of those things that he's figured out working with the bot that he's helped program. He said he's actually learned a couple of things about strategies that make more sense more often than not. Maybe just buying fairy water is something that whenever he gets the chance, he's going to do. And DK might just grind out the level here instead of going straight to the Stone Man. These Wraith Knights are somewhat plentiful. Yeah, if he gets this one down, he'll be at 11.
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, I thought that was... I agree with you.
Gets the crit there. That. Yeah, that's what the emote is for. Brian gets the level to 10, so DK at 11 here is 17, 9, 15. Okay, that was a very nice level. That was
okay.
Worth it.
That was a generous one.
And Brian has confirmed going through Swamp Cave is a gigantic waste of time, and no one should ever do it. But he goes immediately back here to Hawksness. MP isn't quite up to off the level, but he's gonna feel pretty confident about this, if the blue dragon lets him through. DK just swinging on this without even bothering with a sleep spell, and it didn't matter. He got through it easily anyway. And we have, drum roll,
the harp. And DK does have full knowledge of where the trade-ins are.
There you go. So he knows that the overworld search spot then is limited to flute, sword, or armor. That also means that grave might not have anything. That our armor may be in Sharlock.
Oh, that's always fun.
And the harp for Brian as well. So, DK is just going to take the death out here. He just fought that one stone man to I think, try to get a refresh there in the castle and then decide he didn't even want to fight another Stone Man, just wanted to die. Fighting Stone Man sometimes makes you feel that way. And he is going to do a physical count. Yeah, he's just going to count it out. So no reverse here. Yeah, he's counting over. So we'll see if he's able to get it in a little while, because it's going to take a while to get there. And without repel, he's going to see probably another 10 enemies before he does. It didn't look like it was too tricky of a count, but there was like a couple of over the water spots where he might have to go above it or something.
DK's finally going after that count, thank goodness.
Yeah, it's just sword. It's not that big of a deal, but it does make it interesting now. Our grinds are Red Dragon and Stone Man, so, you know, goodbye Stone Man. And hello, Brian! He is going down to Mountain, I think. Or he's just getting keys, but this might be that final 5th chest in Mountain check. We're hoping for him, because that lingering much longer could be a problem in this race, because the longer it sits, the more likely we think he forgot about it, but he did not. I agree with chat. DK is okay. Okay at this game. I didn't mention it before, but we do have the... Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to drop it over the water there, but we have the 2020 champion in DK and the 2021 runner-up in Brian Williams here, so definitely some royalty as far as DWR goes. And there he gets the token! Hooray!
Oh, Brian might be having a reaction to that if he realizes that.
He didn't really lose a whole lot, and he did manage to get down here with repel, so he wasn't eating a bunch of terrible enemies. So it wasn't too bad, but it definitely was a scenario where he could have picked that up and then went back for the gold chest. It would have taken a little bit longer, but it wouldn't have been that crazy.
Oof, Magic Wyverns also have heal more. Ugh. That's mean. DK doing the walking grind. He only needs 3 to get the 3,000 experience points for level 12. He's hoping that maybe next level will also be as generous as 11 has been.
Yes, I think the only thing we have not seen is Grave. But Brian's exploration is, I would say, worse than DK's, in that the stuff that he found is just less interesting. Like Breck and Stone's Cave. But that might be stuff that DK has to go to, while Stone's Cave, I mean, might have to go to anyway in a scenario of Armors and Sherlock. Although DK is kind of known for just saying screw it to Stone's Cave when it comes down to that. So we'll see if that ends up being a factor.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Tila. I've only been doing this since last weekend. Got over my nervousness. But, okay, DK going for the run from the Blue Dragon. He's... Oh, I missed what level 12 is, but let me see. That's a few more strength, agility, HP. His HP and MP have gone into Amber mode, and I'm sorry I missed it. Oh, thank you, Walranium. It was 10, 4, 9, 12 for level 10. I mean, for level 12 for DK. Goodness.
So it does look like DK is on the right line here, at least horizontally. Assuming he just goes around and even if he checked all 4 spots over there, as long as he checks them, he's fine. So I think he's got this. First try. GG's.
And an armored knight, just like Brian got.
the post-sword greeting. But in his situation, he can actually take this guy out. Brian was completely exhausted. DK will get a nice 172 if he does take him out.
Yeah, we need to go up to 4125 for level 13.
All right, now, what's good here is if DK just does keep searching and is able to find the grave. If he doesn't and decides to go through swamp, which, he has to be in the back of his head, then that's going to eat up some time. But, again, if the armor is not in grave, if it's in Sharlock, it probably is better to just clear out Stone's Cave anyway.
Yeah, and DK does have knowledge of the trade-ins. Some people in chat are debating if he should dip Sharlock first. I'd actually consider it, even at this level. It would be probably not my wisest decision ever, but I'd do it.
Yeah, I think I'll peek around a little bit before he does that, but armor is kind of a big deal. That's a really scary thing, because look at that MP. You go into Sharlock, you're losing 2 heal mores before you get out of the first floor, and then how much are you going to fight while you're in there? That's what you would want to do if you're going to die for armor early, is generally get it and get some experience. So I don't know. He could also just go to the Red Dragon if he wants. He's got the stats for it.
I think he's seeking out Grave first before he goes after that dragon.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's over here, so he might as well look. But if this turns out to be nothing, there is a consideration to just doing the opposite. But Brian finds it.
Finds Grave first.
So we as chat will know sooner than later. And I think he would full dive this. The only way he wouldn't is if he finds the armor here at the beginning, but I still think he would. You're kind of far out. It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I'd be diving this at this stage for armor too. Mostly because you don't want to have to do that dive, Sharlock, because that's a pain. Yeah, you're right, Tilo. He will dive because Brian doesn't have stones yet. He hasn't been to Cole.
I don't think we have enough. I think we only seen the one cursed belt, and all 3 spots had something. So there's no knowledge that's going to clear this out for him. Unless the next 2 things are cursed belts, and then he'll know. But at that point, there's not a whole lot left for Brian to find. I will say the fact that the token was down there in Mountain, Brian is probably not sad one bit that that's what was there, because that warranted the check. If it was armor, he would probably just be looking at the race room and winning this thing to be over.
DK finding his way back to Rim to refill and probably head out, still trying to find Grave. This could be a deciding factor in how this race pulls out. And there's the armor in Grave 4. No dive needed.
All right. Well, he'll probably go check the 5th chest here anyway, but that does mean anyone who had any sort of strange notions about diving Sharlock before trying to find Grave would be losing this race.
Aaron, I think at 3-1, Brian Williams is at least clinching a spot in the brackets. Can you clarify?
Yeah, he's already clinched a spot. There's no scenario where he can get lower than a 3 seed. But obviously, if he wins this one, it will clinch the top seed and the bye, and that's pretty important when it comes to brackets, because pretty much anyone who makes brackets is a serious threat, and you want to face the least amount of those people as possible, unless you're just a glutton for punishment. Or beta might have the hardest path to the finals in the history of standard tournaments.
$41.25 for DK, level 13. 2 more power, 5 more speed, 6 more hit points, 1 more magic point. Still no outside or repel.
And it's actually good for DK that the levels aren't coming, because the experience gap is only as good as the amount of enemies you still need to fight. If you wind up in go mode at 13 as DK, it's actually very, very, very bad, because then Brian would be able to catch up fairly quickly, and the experience lead you had would be pretty irrelevant. And DK is going to go through Swamp now, so he's going to get the full-on maximum combination of disappointment. Like, the only thing that could make this worse is if instead of Stone's Cave, it was Tablet, and at the end of Tablet was a torch or something.
That's going to cost him.
Yeah, it'll go quickly, but it is a bit of a compensation in time. Something he could have not had to do that he does. So we'll see. Again, if Brian is able to kind of chip away at this experience gap, it'll mean a lot. It also might be good for DK to find Grave when he has outside, which Brian does not have, and is having to physically walk out of here, which hasn't been terrible for the experience, but I wouldn't call it a good experience in general. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if DK, he checks the second continent, sees nothing, hits up Breck, and then just decides to visit the Red Dragon for a while, because, this is probably the best grind. Get it out of the way. Don't have to come back here. Yeah, thinking about that, he might, well, I guess he doesn't have any of his trade-ins turned in, so there's not a whole lot you're going to do with, like, Fairy Water. I think when Brian, he only was able to buy a couple anyway.
And Wyverns have hurt more, too.
Did we know that? I'm trying to remember. I think they were just slept most of the time. Just Golden Stone's Cave, no big deal. He knows that's Breck, and he does not want anything to do with it. Avoiding it as is appropriate. Get your DK Breck emotes in chat if you have them. Yeah, Brian might just not have thought about the stop spell on them again. There's been a couple of situations like that where it seems like Brian has passed up on fighting some enemies in certain scenarios, but I don't think it's, the experience gap is one thing, but I don't think, like with Hawksness, that ended up hurting anything at all, considering what was in Hawksness.
Yeah, instead of hitting return to start back at Tantagel, DK looks like he's probably going to check the Swamp Spike, maybe take on a few Red Dragons to see if he can pull outside or repel at this point. Need 56.25 for level 14.
Yeah, considering how far off in the off to the side this is, there's really no reason to not just take a Death Warp whenever you're done with this guy here and start back from start. Not that I know where Grave is exactly. Is this Brian's first time in Rimuldar? It must be. That also means he must be on the right path, because I seem to think that was in the ways over to Cole and Sharlock. Yeah, so far the red dragon looks pretty harmless. I mean, by harmless, I mean normal. Harmless would be, I guess, stop spell and hurt, but being able to take it down. That extra defense does help here a little bit with 102 hit points. That makes it a whole lot more likely he can get 2 swings in per heal cycle. Maybe even 3 if things roll really nice.
Yeah, I think he's about 2 red dragons away from pulling level 14.
And that leaves DK with having to find Grave, and Brian is, again, he's right on that north coast, and we know we had to kind of go straight east from the north coast to find Cole.
Oh, I miscounted.
Charlock.
DK gets that 14 at 1 power, 1 speed, 18 hit points, 23 magic points. Okay, that's gonna really, really throw a lot of things into question.
It just means go another level. There's no chance that they would go on that. I think even with fairy water, you're looking like if you can get a full dose of fairy water, you're looking at needing 17 swings on 11 heal mores. So you need like 4 doubles, and 4 doubles on 11 heal mores feels like a really bad ratio.
Yeah, thanks for that. The Dragon Lord 2 math, how you guys handle that stuff always went over my head.
You know, it's actually too bad that Brian isn't in go mode because he's right here, and he'd be able to just walk east, get the stuff out of Cole, then walk all the way back to the Jerk Cave, which is only a couple of screens west of where he is, and then just straight to Charlock. And DK gets a nice crit there, gets another red dragon down. You might be able to get 15 just going for Grave at this point. So it's just going to be a matter if DK can find Grave, because if there's one thing that sometimes catches DK, that sometimes he gets a little bit map bossed. He is a mapper. He does map. If you've seen it, he's very dark straight lines that he uses to put directions and things. But occasionally it can be an issue. Let's hope it's not for his sake. Either way, he's got a little bit of a gap, depending on what Brian does here, because he is just going to get his stones, and then he is done, full on grind and go. He could literally warp back and just get the drop on the way, but he might walk it back because of the potential to need fairy water, and you'd rather go get the fairy water when you already have the drop, and all the locations for the fairy water are, if you were, starting from start or whatever, are behind it. But we'll see. He'll find Sherlock in about 10 seconds, I think. Well, it would have been 10 seconds if he didn't get level 13. I have absolutely no idea what happened to DK there, or what he was doing. I think this is probably just a really tense scenario, because it's you're so close to being able to be done, and you can't find the one thing, and you've checked all, like, anywhere nearby, so it's got to be out in some hinterland that you just barely missed sort of scenario. DK didn't get a stop spell, did he?
Not sure, unfortunately.
Well, there it is, Sherlock. So we see Brian swinging on this golem. We don't really know what the stop spell rate is here, but this would be an interesting choice if he decided he wanted to maintain position. He's got to go back anyway, so I can't imagine he would chill here in the desert with golems. You know, I've had that question too, Tilo, and it's been told to me that defense rounding actually works in your favor, not the other way around, because it's the enemy stats that get truncated against them instead of against you.
Yeah, DK going after this golem would stop spell because that'll bring him to 7,500 XP in level 15.
All right, let's see if 15 is it.
One 2014.
And 15 is it, but no repel, which is kind of unfortunate with that silver shield and all of that. You know, with the death necklace here, we're looking at 14 swings on 13 heal mores, and with no chance to even get a double on top of that.
And finally, he finds the grave.
All right, well, he'll be in here until he doesn't need to be in here. Yeah, I pointed out, no outside, no repel, no hurt more, all at level 16. What a funny seed. Yeah, Death Warp with 88 defense. It's got to hope for the right type of enemy to be here. Or this could be a lot of eaten time. But this experience gap is still pretty big. And it looks like Brian is going back to Garenham. He's going to do this grind here. It's not too long for DK because we know that is in the 4th chest. That we'll see what happens, if he's able to catch up at all before DK is out of here.
Now, there's a question for the pro runners. I mean, at level 15, yeah, you don't have outside or repel. Do you still just go for it?
No, I mean, you have to, because there's like 14 was, in my estimation, a hard no, and 15 is a hard yes. You just have to go to try to finish this up. Like the one thing about possibly going forward would be that maybe he could manage to get like the fighter's ring, but I don't think he's going to need it. Again, at 134, he's 14 swings to full clear. 13 is probably enough to win with 13 heal mores. So he's like a +1, +2. Camlin's kind of in the middle of the map, so I think DK will be able to stop there if he wants. He only needs 3 fairy waters to be able to repel through Sharlock, so that will probably be just fine. Also, I'm minorly embarrassed that you said something about the professional runners, and I just immediately confidently reply like you were talking to me.
You're a 2-time Winter League champion. I will trust your expertise.
There you go, 14 for Brian. He's going to heal more up and get that last level. DK, like I said, probably... I think this is a dead end. Yeah, he's a little bit confused, I think, about how to get back to the northern end, but he should see Cantlin on the way there. In fact, it's just a screen over, so I wouldn't be surprised if he picks that up. You could make the argument about doing this with fairy water. I think because you have the silver shield and you're in a tight race like this, and because of the way things line up, that I would definitely just go Death Necklace. Yeah, sometimes you can underestimate how much time the fairy water saves, or overestimate, or anything like this. There is one tournament race where I I remember it was my race against Juef a couple of years ago, where I entered Charlock over a minute behind Juef, but I stopped to Breckenary to buy fairy water and managed to end up winning the race by 30 seconds because that fairy water saves so much time. Now, obviously, it depends on what sort of enemies we get. He'll be repelling up to green dragons and not axe knights and above. So there is a bit of a gap there, but it should be a reasonable scenario. I'm surprised he's using the fairy water here, though. Cole is so close that it just makes sense, I think, to heal up there and not here.
I just still waiting for DK to go after the homework turn-ins. He knows where both of those caves are.
Yeah, they're on the way, though, so... This had to come first, unless you wanted to walk all the way back there. Like, there's Rim, and we're going to see the jerk, and then we'll see the harp.
Yeah, Brian's getting his level 15. I'm not sure if he knows where the jerk is yet, but I might be mistaken.
He saw it. So he is, I think he's going to try to die here, and then he'll be marching on his way. So chat said something about a 3-minute lead. That seems to be about right. I don't think Brian's going to bother with any sort of fairy water or anything. Like, there we go, putting on the dragon scale to get taken out. So DK will also have the advantage of fighting less enemies in Charlock. The only advantage Brian has in this scenario is that he already did the staff trade-in, so he only has to stop at the jerk cave. Doesn't have to cut back here like DK did. And you know, I said something about fairy water, and then I realized that they don't have repel, so there is no real reason for DK to not just throw the fairy waters, because you'd rather repel the stuff outside of Charlock than the stuff in if you get the choice. It's just the stuff outside is going to be more of an annoyance. Yep, and there was Cantlin, said no to Cantlin. We'll see Rim, walk right north of Rim to the Jerk Cave, but DK has entered Charlock at about 1:15:30. And he's getting a lot of fun Stoneman encounters. What is that? Ambush run block Stoneman? After getting hit by the first one? Yeah, great. That's exactly what you want. First moment you step into Charlock. Oh, and there's a red dragon. Again, this is a solid go level, but it is not an overwhelming go level. So we cannot lose a whole lot in the way of heal mores here. But that silver shield is... Oh, that's not full mercy roll, huh? And he's throwing out the heal more. He doesn't want to use the herbs. I think he is he's willing to get rid of one of them. I'd be surprised if he did it again and just decided, you know what, if this goes bad, I'll leave. I'll go to Cole, heal up, and come right back. Well, I guess he wouldn't leave because he doesn't have outside. All right, he's made it through the entire first zone. Right about as Brian is entering, we're going to see something around a 1:17:05 entrance here from Brian. DK throwing out those fairy waters into zone 2 and into the diamond room.
I think at this point it is still anybody's race. DK does have that advantage with the silver shield, but it could still tilt either way depending on Charlock.
Yeah, although, again, considering all the enemies that DK is repelling, this isn't as scary as it could be. Armor Knights in the bottom floor, they can be troublesome. And again, it is also worth noting DK has dropped a heal more. He still is a solid favorite here, but I don't know, it's a little bit tighter now because of that. And I think that was an accidental swing on the Armor Knight. Now he's choosing to run. I would almost just keep swinging if I swung the first time. I don't know, 124, you're probably not super high odds to 3-shot, but... And he used the fairy water at the magical tile, the location. You use it there, you will not run out the rest of the way unless you do some heal walking. So he saved the fairy water running out, saved, and yeah, there you go. So that was about a 2-second time save. These are the things that those of us who've been playing this for 5+ years think about. Does not heal, goes under the spike. It is a green dragon. I do not believe we've seen anything out of the green dragon. Heck.
And their defense broken anyway.
Yeah, he could have done the final level here if he really wanted to. I'm not sure I would have recommended it, but he could have. And we'll see, using an herb. He'll have 4 herbs coming in here. He even has a heal if for some reason he wants to throw out a heal. He does tell the Dragon Lord no, good. And I'm imagine we'll see a Death Necklace equip here right away. And everything else is up to the rolls and the decisions.
An attack from the Dragon Lord, those are rare.
And he has him defense broke, so that isn't too bad. There's the hurt more. We haven't really seen that yet, so gets back up over 100. We do see his max hit points are 105. Not going to bother at 99. Will not be able to get doubled up at this point anyway. And here we go. Ambush? No ambush? No ambush.
10.
Great start, opening double.
20. 31.
We are in a scenario where a couple of really bad heal mores could lead us into a double heal more situation, but I think it's very unlikely.
45.
And these rolls are pretty nice. He's rolling, I believe that is 8 to 17.
54.
And of course, as soon as I say they're nice, they get a not nice.
65. Darn, I missed that one. There's some lag somewhere.
We're at 78 now.
Thank you.
And now 86. You can keep counting.
99.
I'm good for
5
about
more left.
I'm good for about 3 rounds, and then I lose track.
110.
Yeah, still in solid shape here. The rolls have not been amazing, but they have been good enough.
125. That's a good one. And Brian also becoming the Fool and fighting the Dragon Lord, and that's another 10, so that's 135 on DK's side.
We have at least 3 more swings to go.
144.
And he is not very happy. I can see it on his camera. He is very upset at that roll.
159. He's going to have to take that swing.
Oh, he's guaranteed on this one.
171. So wow. Down to the wire. Good for him. DK's going to get that victory. He does have return, so he doesn't have to walk back.
Yeah, GG's out in chat for DK. He does take this home. Was in the lead for, it felt like it quite a while. It seemed like Brian had some trouble getting going, but there he goes.
Brian gets back attacked at 14.
He is taking the win, and we'll put him in strong position. He'll have 1 race left against Zarnax, and that may decide who gets the bye here in the group.
29 and 2 attacks for Brian. He's having a little bit better attack luck than DK is, but DK got there first. And that's 40 for... $51. 66. 80. 104. 113.
Seems like he's well on his way as well.
129. 142 for Brian. Yeah, he's probably going to be heading out soon. 157. He's not risking it.
He was guaranteed there. I think he just wasn't 100% sure.
And that 16 will do it. That'll bring him out. And GG's to Brian Williams as also. DK, is that you?
It's me!
Yes, congratulations. Heck of a race, man.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun one, I'll be honest. I felt really good throughout most of it. Taking a dumb death on the golem when I wasn't paying attention was stupid, but other than that, I didn't mind everything I did otherwise.
Yeah, Brian had a little bit of an advantage by finding the sword first, but you kind of made up for that. And also, you don't have to worry about it here. None of us in the booth have hurt more.
I'll be honest, hurt more wasn't the issue. No repel, man. No repel stinks.
Yeah, especially considering how often it felt like you just had to die, like take a death warp or something, gets you and have to go back through the beginning zones. But hey, GG, how are you feeling about the grave search? Because that one seemed to be a little bit elusive.
Well, I mean, I knew exactly where it had to be. It was the last little area I hadn't explored. So at least I didn't map boss myself this time. I just managed the full clear to Dagon map.
Actually, both of you did. Also, you did get that silver shield. You had that advantage towards the end. That was an easy help for a bit of a run through Sharlock. You only have about a minute or so between the two of you for the time.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, luckily I went south and found Garenham early, saw the full plate silver shield in there with the broadsword. Ended up with enough gold out of the back to get the broadsword right away, but I was like, it's early enough in the seed where getting a gold grind and getting that will probably be beneficial, and it was.
And it seemed like the you getting to Garenham, Brian ended up getting Cantlin, which was a little bit harder to get to, a little bit longer, and it took him he did the same sort of thing. It took him a couple of times to get there, and the goodies were just, I don't know. He had magic armor and large shield and broadsword, so I think the silver wound up being a little bit nicer. So slight advantage in the what you were able to gold grind, I suppose.
And welcome in, Brian. GG's.
Yeah, GG DK. Good race. Looks like it was probably close to the end.
Yeah, GG to yourself as well.
Yeah, I heard Aaron say that I was maybe a little unfortunate to find Cantlin as my gold grind town, but yeah, I didn't check any other shops the rest of the map, so I have no idea what they had.
Yeah, I found Garenham first, and I saw the broadsword, full plate, silver shield, so that's what I ultimately ended up with until we found the Erdrick's gear.
That's a much better combo for sure.
But still, you both did great. That was a very exciting race. It was down to the wire. Was maybe like a minute or so between Sharlock entrances for both of you.
Yeah, I think we had it at about 90 seconds. I think the fairy water with the silver going through Sharlock definitely helped to expand that lead slightly, but it's more or less when it finished out. So Brian, Do you have any particular thoughts about how things went with Mountain in this one?
I mean, with Mountain, like under start. Yeah, I mean, with Hurt, I didn't feel too much pressure to see what it even was. I felt like we could get 4 or 5 levels. But then once we got some decent strength, I thought, okay, well, now I could use a gold grind. So let's see what's in Mountain. And so I think that was the point. Obviously, dying short of the last chest, having to do that dive again just to get the token, which was needed. That was a minute or so easy, having to have to do that again. But, did it pretty early. So I'm glad I got as far as I did, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like, again, DK went down there initially, died immediately on level 1, and then you guys both went right back down about the same time. He got there, you didn't. That Magic Wyvern was, I think he got away and you didn't, and that was pretty much it. Magic Wyvern seemed to be kind of tricky in this one, but when you did this was something we thought of, and maybe I'm just throwing ideas out. But is there any point when you went into the gold grind where you thought about getting that 5th chest before going back to the gold?
No, because I just died doing it. And so I was really just like, let's just get things. I can get the level. Hopefully I get outside so it gets faster later. But I know I can get a pretty huge upgrade. And then at some point the Magic Wyvern would be a friendly find and I would turn it into XP. So I basically decided it wasn't going to help me get levels, probably. So I would just go straight to the gold grind and come back when I knew I could beat the Magic Wyvern and be happy with the encounter.
Yeah, and it's actually chat's bringing up something. This is a 2-part question. So first for you, Brian, how did you? The count was a little bit tricky for you. How did you feel when you went southeast after all of that and then saw both coasts?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I felt bad, and it's funny. I'd messed up the count really, really early. The north count, I was off by 1. Just that one little bit of swamp I walked through was like my first milestone step, and I counted that to 15 the first time. So everything the first count was off by 1. And then I counted the second time. I was like, oh, that's only 14. Great. So it's 1 row higher than I thought I was. And yeah, so I basically wasted a lot of time. Obviously, it was sword. So in the end, you don't feel too bad for pushing it, but it certainly was like, I didn't push the search too much the first time because I thought, yeah, I'll probably end up back here anyways. And I did. So I just counted again and went a different direction after the count. So I didn't feel too bad on exploration. It just felt a little bad that there was a corner to make it easier that I saw like later.
Yeah, you had at least me in here, like trying to wave you the opposite direction with the search, because we'd seen because DK, and I guess this will be for him. DK did seem like it was pretty obvious he set up a reverse as well, but did not do it. So in one case, we knew that it had to be a lot further off the coast than you were kind of aiming for, but. Also, DK, were you just super comfortable with this count, considering you'd kind of been over there already, or were you thinking about trying to pop it backwards as well?
I figured the reverse would be the backup if I mess something up, but I would much prefer to just walk it out. Plus, I was still trying to find the grave at that point, so I was hoping that maybe we'd go past the grave if I'm walking the cords. It almost took me there because I went to the south side, just above Tablet initially, and then didn't continue west there. Obviously, picked my count back up across the river and went up, but nailed it first try on counting all 119 of those steps.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, when I saw 66 west, I thought it could be like that narrows it down a lot, but it doesn't narrow it down enough to assume that I'm on the coast, right? It could be 50 in the other direction to the coast. So I didn't seek out the east coast as a boundary, and I'd also seen that bit of swamp to the north also went east, but I didn't see the end of it because I didn't go that far. And so yeah, I had a lot of suspicion that I was right in the middle of the map and it would be on the very west coast, but obviously it was a full screen and a half in. So but I just happened to die short of that on the first go around. with the skeleton, and then not see it till later.
Yeah, I got the double reverse set up pretty early. A couple things killed me, but yeah, we were 28 east and 25 south from both coasts.
I didn't go that way because of the swamp and the desert, and it just said too many encounters, probably not good. So I went north into plains, and that's what took me where it did.
I didn't get any of them, but there were metal slimes in the south zone going down there southeast, and they kept showing up, but they kept running.
Yeah, I think I got 1 damage on one. Maybe I got a second, but I saw like 4 of them on the one trip into that corner. It was just like overpopulated with metal slimes down there. No natural predators.
Well, I mean, for me, I'd say anything else. I like the map was challenging enough, I would say, which is nice. You want it challenging without being ridiculous, although if I'm watching, I want it to be ridiculous. Overall, it was a fairly friendly seed. I mean, a lot of the early hurt mores, as you guys were saying when I came in, that was a little annoying. But overall, I mean, once you get going, got a little gear, it was just go find the stuff is how it felt. And it seems like it kind of aligned because if we're only a couple minutes apart here, and that's even stretched out slightly because of the repel and Sherlock, then it's it had to be a pretty tight race the whole time.
Yeah, just finding Grave really late. Like I'd already kind of gone second continent and all the way to the coordinates, and I guess I hadn't seen Rimildar Dirk, like that whole peninsula up there with all the other things, but it felt like it still took me too long to get to Grave because it was just past Tablet, and I was running out of directions to go before I found it. So yeah, and I shouldn't have taken some of those fights like the Armored Knights. I knew those were bad. That honestly cost me a minute or two just taking Armored Knights and Blue Dragons when I knew there was a Red Dragon grind once we were done with exploring. So I should have been a little more disciplined about my fights along the way.
Well, don't worry. I did the exact same fights and the exact same thing. Grave was absolutely the last location I found, and I was already level 15 when I finally found it. So I'm like in full panic mode at this point.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been so bad if repel decided to show up, but or outside as
Hero repels, 0 outsides. Yeah. I should have sold the cursed belts too to just make more room for fairy water, but yeah, I didn't, and I think I ate a lot of encounters that probably could have saved me a minute or two too. I just get a little too optimistic that repel will be there, and then it's not.
Well, I'll just say thanks to the comms team here for getting some words out on the stream. Thanks for our restreamer. I apologize, I didn't ever look at who was doing what. And
Tanuki Monsters on the restream. Fellison was handling the tracking for this.
That's right. I do remember that from way earlier. Yeah, thank you all for putting these on. I know there's an absolute ton of group stage races, and it's amazing how many of these we've gotten official broadcasts for. So very much appreciated.
Yeah, we've got 2 more races tonight. One at 5 and one at 9 p.m., I believe.
Yeah, that's what I see on the schedule too. If you are able to volunteer to help us out with those, it looks like we have a restreamer for both. So if you can commentate or track, that would be well appreciated. Please feel free to volunteer. Again, Wander Down, I think you can speak to that. This is your second or third race commentating?
This is actually my 4th. I did 2 races last Saturday, and I did the 8 p.m. last night. This is the 4th, and I'm actually considering the 5 p.m.
Well, there you go. If you're not sure...
Thanks for taking me seriously, everyone.
You've done a great job. And again, yeah, if you are unsure about these sorts of things, reach out to the staff or to someone who does this, and talk to them and see how you feel about things. As long as your setup isn't too terrible and you don't have people yelling in the background all the time or playing video games that you can hear, there's really not a whole lot that's required other than a mic and a good sense of humor about yourself to where you don't take it too seriously. But hey, again, GG's to DK and Brian. This is this does clinch DK into brackets, so welcome. Brian's already been here, but guaranteed to brackets now. And I think both of you clinch 1 and 2, just waiting on to see if Zarnax, if he loses one more race, I think that's how it finishes for you two. So you get to well, DK gets to handle his own business, but otherwise you guys get to wait and kind of watch.
And that is the 5 p.m. race tonight, I believe.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your Saturday.
Yeah, Zarnax versus EMP. Thank you both for racing. This was an exciting one tonight.
All right, so I think we were going to head out here in just a bit. Checking to see if we have any raid targets lined up. You know what? We could go ahead and raid Ziggy. He's on some practice seeds. We do have at least one race under right now. Or you know what? Actually, the next race is at 2 o'clock. That's going to be restreamed in RSZ. That's going to be on Hoodie Two Shoes channel. So if you want to watch some DWR right now, go ahead and head over to Ziggy's channel. But I think unless somebody beats me to it, we're just going to go ahead and raid over to Hoodie. There will be nothing going on there for about 15 minutes, but there will be a race booting up between Tilo and Miplet 2 in just a little bit. So you have anything left that you want to say, Wonderdown, or I go ahead and take us out? Well, then, on behalf of my co-commentator Wonderdown and our tracker Fellison and our restreamer Tanuki Monster, I'm Aaron to you too. Thank you very much for catching this restream of Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament. Stay tuned. Again, race very likely at 5 o'clock. And of course, the race where the stream we're raiding into will have a race in just a little bit.